Welcome to the Aledo Bearcats Coaches Show podcast, a presentation of Rio Country 92.1 Hank FM. Live from Boo Rays of New Orleans and Hudson Oaks, the Aledo Bearcats Coaches Show podcast is brought to you by H5 Sports Barn in Aledo and Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. And now, with head coach Robby Jones, here's the voice of the Bearcats, Kevin Lonnquist.
Kaydon Wingfield gets the carry on first down, breaks a tackle at the 30, off he goes, 25, 20 outside the numbers to the 10 to the 5, being dragged into the end zone, and he will score. Touchdown, Aledo Bearcats.
And the Bearcats, with one of their 4 touchdowns on the night in their game this past Friday up in Denton, taking on the Guyer Wildcats, unfortunately didn't turn out the way they wanted to in a 35-30 loss, but the Bearcats gained valuable experience as this new team, the 2024 Bearcats, move on. We welcome you to the second week of the Aledo Coaches Show podcast. I'm Kevin Lonnquist here, joined alongside by head coach Robby Jones. We're also going to be joined in our second segment by wide receiver and national recruit Kaydon Finley, along with quarterback Gavin Beard. Just a reminder to you that we are coming to you from Boo Rays. Again, want to thank them and their staff for taking care of us throughout the course of the 2024-25 school year. Also want to let you know, too, that this franchise is celebrating their 20th anniversary, so congratulations to them for making stakes in this part of the Westoplex. And of course, you heard on the open that we are brought to you by 2 wonderful sponsors, H5 Sports Barn and Hiley Mazda in Fort Worth. A reminder that this podcast, as we said, will go throughout the course of the academic school year. We will be visiting with coaches when they are in season, so spread the word. Funny story, too, on Sunday, I was at Central Market wearing my Aledo hat and ran into a fan who asked me about the game, told him who I was, told them about the podcast, wasn't aware of it, and said spread the word. So that's how this helps to get the word out, by just word of mouth. So the more people that talk about it, the better off everyone's going to be, and this will be a continued successful venture for Aledo Athletics. All right, the Bearcats will open up their season at home, if you will, against another Class 6A team in Lancaster at Tim Buchanan Stadium. That's a 7:30 kickoff. Pre-game show will be at 7 o'clock on Hank FM. And, Coach, let's just start with the opener at Guyer last week. Just your overall impressions when you watched the film Saturday with your team. And it literally was, a game that came down to actually the final play, much like last year's game was.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very disappointing loss for us. It's hard for our kids to take. We don't like losing at Aledo, and our kids definitely don't like losing. There were a lot of good things that we did. We did a lot of really good things, but then we did some things that cost us the game. And we've been working on those things. We worked on them, watched the video to try and correct things video-wise. And then today in practice, we concentrated quite a bit on our punt team, our kickoff coverage team, those types of things that, hurt us the other night.
All right, so we'll talk about the final play of the game where, first of all, I don't know if when you all had to punt back to them with about 2:45 to go, Kyle Hicks and I were saying to each other in the press box or in the booth, if they get 1 first down, this is over because you only had 2 timeouts left. You burned them, and then for whatever reason, they ran wide, got outside, and then they threw a pass after a penalty. So you all actually got it back. But on the final play, which was about 4th and whatever it was at their 49, they had an injury timeout with Zach Rowe, their talented defensive end, and there were 3 seconds on the clock. And there seemed to be some miscommunication with the game official, with your offense, in terms of how that final play should have, because it looked like it was snapped before he actually blew the whistle and then wound the clock. Kind of take everybody through what happened there and then what was communicated to you by the officials.
Yeah, we knew that, there's only 3 seconds left and the clock was going to start when he blew his whistle. So we tried to communicate with the kids, hey, listen, as soon as this whistle blows, we need to snap the ball right after the whistle blows, and so we get the play run. And I don't know if everybody got that information because we weren't allowed to huddle them up. If we were allowed to huddle them up, then everyone would have been in there and would have heard, what was going on. So we tried to communicate that with everyone. Don't think that everyone got the message, but, that was what was going to happen was, after the whistle blew, we had to snap the ball. We couldn't wait around and make line calls and all that because the clock would have run out on us. Right. So, there was some guys that kind of, the whistle blows about the same time we snap the ball. Mm-hmm. We should have waited just a count on that. Mm-hmm. But, some of the players thought that the whistle was stopping the play. as opposed to starting the play. So
gotcha on that. And that's just going to be those first game things that you'll get corrected as the season goes along too. I know Kyle and I felt several times in the broadcast that you all were like this close. I'm holding my index finger and my thumb about 1.5 inches apart, that you guys were this close to getting on top of this. I thought your fronts were really in control of this game for the most part, minus an explosive play from them here and there. Is that something that you felt the same, or what was your general takeaway from the way this went down?
Yeah, we felt like, the entire game that we were, just a play or two away from, taking control of the game and making it to where they didn't have a chance. But we continued to allow them to stick around, and, they started making some plays against us, and, the tide turned and turned out bad for us.
Obviously, a lot will be made of the special teams mistakes that led to 17 Guyer points. Anything you and your staff saw that you can tweak? I mean, for me, I thought, the kickoff return right at the end of the first half, high hop for Corbin Glasgow. He just makes a phenomenal play on that. He got the benefit of a high hop too on that last when he scooped it up. But overall, just what your takeaway from the special teams things?
Yeah, that kickoff, just very unfortunate for us because we were trying not to kick the ball to him. We probably should have, we were doing a squib kick to try and make it to where they had to field the ball and it would burn up the clock. But we kicked it, and, it took one of those hops where it would have been great for an onside kick, for us.
Yeah.
But what happened was the guy that we were kicking it to, it hopped over him and into Glasgow, who we didn't really want to have the ball in his hands, but very unfortunate for us. And so, we took away the fact that, we weren't in our correct lanes in that, to stop him. And then also on the punt block, there was some miscommunication on that. It was a left protection, and the right side thought they heard that it was a right protection, so we went left and right. So the left side went left and the right side went right. So that just opened the gate for them to come block that punt.
And then, but you all benefited too from a couple of their special teams mistakes. You had when they kicked the field goal to start the game, they went for the onside kick. Then they got a penalty because the ball went out of bounds. So you guys started on plus 49 or 46 rather, and you all were able to score your first touchdown of the game. And then of course they had the snafu on the snap that went over the punter's head and then he kicks it out of bounds for a safety. So it was kind of a little bit of give and take on that too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's first game stuff, first game, first time to go live with special teams. So there's going to be some mistakes in the special teams. It just, the special teams hurt us more than it hurt them.
Sure. All right. As we mentioned, Gavin Beard, this year's starting quarterback, is going to be joining us in the second segment. And so just your biggest takeaway in how he handled this, what were the positive, what are the areas for growth for him?
Oh, and he's going to continue to get better and better throughout the year. It was, first start of the year for him. Of course, he got one start last year. We got him some quality reps last year. But, great performance by Gavin. We got to do a little bit better job of protecting him. We had some open receivers on some of the plays where he got flushed out. The receivers would be on the left side, and their rush flushed him out to the right, so he couldn't get it to those receivers. So, we do a little bit better job in our protection. We're going to be able to hit those big plays right there because we had some touchdown plays that were out there. Just the protection broke down, and he had to get out of the pocket. So we just need to, overall as an entire group, continue to improve. We're not going to place any blame on one particular group on the loss. We take it as a team. I take it personally as the head football coach, and we're going to move on.
The other young gentleman going to be joining us here, Kaydon Finley. He's talked to me in the offseason. We'll ask him about this too in the second segment about the offseason that he had. You like that. Obviously, the dynamic start that he had, 140 yards receiving, the 72-yard score. You couldn't have asked for a better way for him to start.
No, and that's what we expect out of him. He's a big-time player for us. He's going to make big-time plays throughout the year. That's the reason why we moved him to a different position, was to try and get more touches. And he got, I believe it was 8 the other night, and we were planning on trying to get 10, or more in some games. So we want to get him the ball. That was something that was mentioned at halftime, that early we were getting him the ball when we were moving the football, pretty consistently. And then I think we kind of got away from it, and I said, hey, we need to make sure we're trying to get the ball to Kaydon some. We got to get the ball to our playmakers. And Coach Williams came right out, got the ball to him, and, made a heck of a play.
There's that old adage: let your best players be your best players.
Yeah, you got to do that. You got to find ways to get the ball in their hands. When I was offense coordinator with JoJo, I had on my play sheet get the ball to number one. I had about 5 plays that were, hey, if things aren't going right and we got to get the ball to number one, these are the plays. And Coach Williams is doing that with Kaydon right now.
Yeah, your running duo of Ray Guillory and Kaydon Wingfield, of course, Ray Guillory coming back from the knee injury. Did that go as you expected it to go, better than you thought, and is that a balance you want to kind of maintain throughout the course of the year based on the way it unfolded Friday at Denton?
No, I mean, that was by design. Friday night, was to, kind of equal out the carries there because, Ray is coming back from the injury. He's not fully in shape yet to go a full game. So, it was basically kind of a half a game for him.
Sure.
Because we split the reps with him and Kaydon. We also had Brady Powell got a few carries in there as well. But one of the things we didn't do is we didn't get Ben McElry in and get him any carries. But that was probably because, he was playing so hard on defense and he was tired on defense. But, yeah, that's kind of the thing we need to do is make sure that we're keeping a fresh back in there. We can't have a back in there that's tired because he's not as effective if he's tired. And
you had a willingness to use Waldron Byers, too, in several opportunities out in the flat.
Yeah, and Wally is, a guy that we can get the ball to, and we wouldn't have him in that position if we didn't think that, he was a viable option there. Coach Williams did a good job of scheming up some things where we did get him the ball out in the flat, and he had a good opportunity. If he would have been able to break one tackle, I think he could have scored early on.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the defense and what we saw. The two things that stood out for me were the pressure that your defensive front brought, and then in the corner, Adrian Fuller. I'm sure you can point to a lot of other things, but what did you see other than what I'm reflecting on?
It was kind of what we expected. We expected our defensive front to be pretty tough against the run, which they were, and then also to get pressure on the quarterback. It's great when you can generate pressure with just the front four. Because then that allows everybody else to be in coverage. So you can drop 7 into coverage and not, worry about, whether or not we're turning somebody loose in the secondary. So, we're happy with the way that our defensive front played. They got a lot of pressure. They hit that quarterback often.
A lot, yes.
I'm going to say that kid was very, very sore after the football game. He may have won the game, but he took a toll on him, and that's what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to put pressure on the quarterbacks. They're going to have to, get after the quarterbacks, get hits on them, and make it difficult on them.
They say a team makes its greatest improvement from weeks 1 to week 2. So what do you want to see in this week leading up to Lancaster?
Yeah, we got to continue to improve. One of the big improvements we need to make is up front offensively. Of course, we had a lot of guys making their very first start, and that showed at times throughout the game. We need to make sure that we're improving offensive line-wise. We got really, really good offensive linemen. It's just, working together as a group. They've got to figure all that out, which I think they will. I think this week might be a little bit better for them as far as the fact that, Guyer came out and they gave us a lot of stuff that we hadn't seen them do.
All right.
And when you have a brand new offensive line and they're seeing something brand new, there's adjustments that have to be made during the game. And so, we struggled a little bit with that. Like I said, I'm not trying to lay the blame of the loss, on those guys. But I think, what we will see from week 1 to week 2 is a big-time improvement there. Lancaster there's going to be the fastest team that we see all year.
Yeah.
These guys are extremely fast. They got guys out there that would have been on our sprint relay that are backups for them. And so they're extremely fast, and when we've got to adjust to that speed this week. But I see us taking some big strides there.
A couple notes about Lancaster. Again, this is going to be the first ever meeting between the Bearcats and the Tigers. And this is going to be the Halloween game because both teams wear orange and black. So we'll get to the color scheme and what you all are going to wear for Friday's game. Over at Tim Buchanan Stadium on Friday. Lancaster opened up with a 29-21 loss to North Crowley. That was over at the Star Center in Frisco. Leon Paul in his 4th year there running this program there. And you all came pretty close to playing them last year in the state semifinals. They lost by 2 points to Forney in the regional championship. You talked about their speed just a few moments ago, but just more of an overall impression of them, of what you see.
Yeah, a very good football team. We were a 2-point conversion away from playing them in the state semifinals last year. If they had converted their 2-point conversion, we may have been playing them as opposed to Forney.
Right.
Very good, well-coached football team. Reminds you a lot of their defense, and watching their defense reminds me a lot of South Oak Cliff, because they run real similar schemes to what South Oak Cliff runs, and they have similar athletes. They're the fastest guys, like I said, we're going to see all year. Hopefully, it's the fastest team we see all year. But
right.
That was one of the reasons why we scheduled these guys, was to see that speed, to try to match up with the speed and see how we react to it and get us used to, somebody that is that fast.
Yeah, and they moved up to 6A this year. They're going to be in that district of doom with DeSoto, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, and Waxahachie and all that. But this is a program with a great tradition. They've made the playoffs 10 out of the last 12 seasons since 2012. They've made the state quarterfinals 3 times. Now let's turn a little bit on them individually. Carter Jones is their quarterback, big kid at 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a commitment to the University of Nevada up in Reno. What stands out to you when you break him down?
He's really good at getting the ball to their playmakers, and they got several playmakers out wide, and he does a really good job of distributing the ball. And then when the pressure gets to him, he finds an alley and he can go make plays with his legs. He's extremely fast. He, reminds me of some of those quarterbacks, like the Cedar Hill quarterback, the Slater kid that we played a couple of years ago, as far as being able to extend plays with his legs. Very good, quarterback, and he's going to be tough to deal with because of the fact that, he can throw the ball really well. He has really good receivers out wide, and then when he pulls the ball down and runs, he's a big-time threat.
Is he a legit dual-threat quarterback? How do you see it?
I would say he's a legit dual-threat quarterback. They don't do a whole lot of design runs for him. But like I said, when he doesn't have an open receiver and he gets a little bit of pressure, he finds a lane and goes and picks up 8 to 10 yards and then slides down and, moves the chains.
Gotcha. A couple other defensive players that we want to talk about are these are both seniors. Free safety Braylon McDonald, he's a commit to Texas Tech, and then linebacker Key Breon Winston, he's committed to Cal. The impact that those two make and what you've seen.
Yeah, Winston, and just talking to some of the other coaches, they say that is the dude. That's the one you got to make sure that you're taking care of, and you got to be careful of number 0, basically. Those guys are all really good football players, and their middle linebacker is committed to Columbia, so that. Obviously, he's a very smart football player.
Right.
So he's going to be, kind of like a Devon Keys in the middle that gets them lined up and gets them, where they need to be. So extremely fast, okay, is what I can say about him. The free safety is a really good football player. So they, very good, sound defense. They run a 4-2-5 look, and similar to what you would have seen with the Gary Patterson defenses of the past, and it's going to be a really big challenge for our offense to go and move the football against these guys.
And to kind of piggyback a little bit on things that you said earlier, without revealing too much, what's kind of been the message to your team and just getting ready for a game like this and another challenge like this?
Yeah, just let's work on ourselves. Let's go out and work each day, be better than we were the previous day. That was the message this morning is, hey, when we show up tomorrow morning, we need to be better than what we were today. And if we do those things, if we make ourselves better each and every day, then we're going to take care of business on Friday night.
All right, Coach, we'll look forward to it. Thanks so much for the time, and we will see you Friday evening. Again, 7:30 kickoff when the Bearcats take on the Tigers. Pre-game show starts at 7 o'clock on Hank FM. Coach, thanks so much. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
All right. This reminder to you that this podcast is brought to you by our friends at H5 Sports Barn and Nye Physio. H5 Sports Barn and Nye Physio and Performance can help unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Aledo Bearcats with expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training. H5 Sports Barn, proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats, and also are by our friends from Hiley Mazda. Looking for a new ride? Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth has you covered. Right now, get $3,500 off MSRP or 0% interest for 36 months or on the 5-star safety-rated CX-5 and CX-30. Hurry in, these offers don't last long. Experience top-notch service and unbeatable deals in their new state-of-the-art facility in Fort Worth, or check out their extensive Mazda lineup at HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family owned and operated for more than 30 years. Okay, on the other side of this break, second segment, we'll have our Aledo alumni report, and then we'll have Kaydon, Finley, and Gavin Beard join us. You're listening to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast here on Hank FM. Back after this timeout.
First and 10 for the Bearcats at their 28-yard line. First play of the third quarter, and it'll be thrown and caught by Finley outside the numbers, breaks a tackle, 35-40, 45-50, down the near sideline, 40, running away, going to the other side of the field, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Aledo Bearcats. 72 yards, tremendous athleticism there by Kaydon Finley, catches a screen, and then it's all 6'2", 195 to the house.
And I think Kaydon Finley ran about 150 yards to cover 72 on that touchdown. We'll ask him about that here in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast here on Hank FM. I'm Kevin Lonnquist to take you through the second segment. And as we always do, we open up this second segment with our Aledo Alumni Report. And just to let you know, Jace McClellan did make the Atlanta Falcons roster, so he will be the fourth running back on that team when they break camp. The Falcons will open up at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming Sunday. That'll be a noon kickoff. Could be here shown locally on Channel 4. We'll kind of have to wait and see what the network will decide to show in our neck of the woods. Probably they might show the Giants in Minnesota because the Giants are in the Cowboys division. And then as for Ansel Dimbu, he's in the starting lineup for Washington State. The Aledo defensive lineman had a pretty good start to his career, if you will, as far as a starter is concerned. Had 5 tackles in the Cougars' 70-30 victory over Portland State. They're playing host to Texas Tech this coming Saturday. All right, Kaydon Finley and Gavin Beard, the pitch and catch combination, to join us. Kaydon, who is a junior, 2026, 2 more years to go. And then Gavin Beard, who just became the starter, made his second career start up in Denton. Okay, guys, thanks for being with us. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's talk about the opener, just overall impressions, things that went well. What was the off-season like to develop this chemistry? We'll start with you, Gavin, because you're taking over. I mean, these are guys that you've thrown to quite a bit, and you started a game last year. You got a lot of varsity time last year. But what was this off-season like for you, just kind of getting into that rhythm because you're getting all the number 1 snaps?
Yeah, so after PC, we would stay later and throw some guys because we did graduate heavy in the receiver class. Besides Finn and Blake Burdine, but we got some younger guys like Jamal Hollister and Lincoln Tubbs, but we were really in the indoor throwing after PC, throwing on days off, and trying to get better and trying to get that chemistry down. Okay, and then in the opener, what did you see against Guyer in terms of just how that chemistry, where it is, and obviously where it needs to keep going if this season is to be as successful as everybody would like for it to be? Yeah, I think you could tell that Kaydon was comfortable out there, had a pretty good game, but we got some guys like Jamal Hollister. Once he gets comfortable, he's a stud and really skilled receiver, but we're gonna be good passing the ball.
And then what did you think, Kaydon, just being out there and obviously you get going with the early touchdown pass, and then just how the night went for you overall?
Yes, sir. I thought going out there that it would be a tough game going in there, but I thought we did better than expected of us. So I'm proud of my team, and we're a young team this year, mostly juniors on the starting squad. So I'm proud of the team, and I think we can continue to grow and be the best team at the end of the season.
All right, Gavin, let's talk a little bit about this. As we mentioned, you've started before, but what do you think was different about this? Because it's like you've got the keys to the offense here. So where do you feel like you were pretty strong in some areas that you felt back, that you need to grow in? Because everybody can look at a film the day after and say, okay, this is where this went well, and this is where I need to get better. So just your overall self-scouting report of how you think.
Yeah, so my mind was kind of racing out there for a little bit. Obviously, it's a big game, 6A Denton Guyer at Denton Guyer, but just making smarter reads on RPOs and just being loud because it is a loud environment. But being in more control of the offense. I thought we did well though.
Okay, and then Kaydon, for you, I mean, you and I talked at the intra-squad scrimmage a couple of weeks ago how you felt like you had a strong offseason. That kind of paid off there, or at least it felt like for me that it paid off against Guyer. Did you feel as loose, free, just out there the way you were running around on the field last Friday?
Yes, sir. From the get-go, I knew that I felt more comfortable than I've been on the field, and I think it's because of the offseason I had. I think that I improved a lot from last season coming into this season, so I felt great getting back on the field and just doing what I do.
You feel stronger? Are you heavier? But I mean, is it a good weight that you've added? Just talk a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I think I've gained speed over the offseason too from track season and all that, but I've also gained more weight. So I think I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
And then, Gavin, for you, where do you think how much you've added though to make the the 5-10 pounds, or how much bigger, thicker, stronger do you feel like you are in comparison to last season?
Yeah, I feel a lot stronger. I've gained 10, 15 pounds since last year, but it's definitely playing effect out there.
All right, so let's talk about the ridiculous 72-yard touchdown pass to open the second half, okay? So I want to get both perspectives here. I want the quarterback's perspective on how that play's supposed to get down and how many yards it's supposed to get. So let's start with you, and then I'll go to you, Kaydon, on what you saw to take it the other way. So just take us through what was called and what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, so it was RPO. I was supposed to read the backer if he came and took the handoff, and he came at me, so I threw it to Finn, but he made a crazy play. It was not supposed to go for 72 yards.
How many yards was it supposed to go for design for?
10 yards, yeah.
Okay, so Kaydon, so you catch it, you see him get into the backer come at him, and so what do you see? And then take us through how the Nile River opened for you on that, especially when you crossed midfield. So just take us through what you saw.
Yes, sir. So I think it was, what down was it, second?
I think first play of the second half.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So it was an RPO, so he could have done anything with it. But I knew once I turned around, he had to hand the ball off. I knew the ball was coming to me, and I had to make a play. So when I caught the ball, I spin around, and I saw two defenders. So I stiff-armed two of them and then just got upfield. And then I saw one of the corners from the other side cross my face, going to attack me on the sideline. So I cut back, knowing it would be harder for him to turn around and get to me that way, and that's how it happened.
All right. And I kidded a few moments ago that I think you ran about 150 yards, but did it feel like you ran because how much territory you covered? I mean, the field is 53 and a half yards wide, and you were going from the Guyer sideline all the way to the front left corner of the end zone on your sideline.
Oh, yeah. I got it back on the sideline. I was gassed. I was cooked.
So, how many waters did you go through to try and get it back?
I probably drank like a full Gatorade bottle before I went back out there the next drive.
Okay. New offensive line for this offense. What did you all take from them? It's obviously never easy to get all five to click in the first game, but of course it's that's what first games are all about. You learn a lot about this. So just talk about everybody getting on the same page. What's going to be important moving forward, getting ready for Lancaster this coming Friday?
Yeah, so like Coach Jones said, they came out with some weird stuff. First play of the game, they were in a bear front, and I knew it was going to be a long, tough day for those new linemen. And it's tough because it's a lot of those guys first start on varsity, but I think they played their butt off, and because we were also pushing the tempo, so they were pretty gassed, trying to get Guyer off the speed, and but yeah, I feel like they did a really good job their first start.
And then for you, just getting things clicking. What's the thing that you guys take from Saturday's film session, moving forward to getting ready for Lancaster on Friday?
Really, just everybody be on the same page. Everybody knowing the routes coming in the game. Everyone just ready to give it their all on the field on Friday for everybody, for our boys on the left and right of us.
Okay. For you, Gavin, I mean, obviously becoming a leader and running an offense, it's kind of a thing that happens maturation-wise. It kind of happens organically for you. So what's your comfort level like of just like getting everybody settled, getting everybody organized, play in and play out? What's that process been like? And it really probably had to start right after mid-December when you guys won the state championship, when you knew that you were going to be the starting quarterback for this team. Yeah, I mean,
extremely blessed to be the starter and be named captain. That was a blessing. And to be looked at as a leader on this team. I've been more vocal with the guys, and I think that one thing that helped me was Haas last year, looking how he led the football team on and off the field. So, yeah.
Okay, and then Kaydon, for you, just in terms of just taking that next step as a leader. There's one thing to have all the physical gifts, but it's the other thing of being that emotional leader, and then just that leader, giving guys a swift kick and the you-know-what to get them going, or maybe to pat them on the back if they need it. What's that been like to kind of marry those two and knowing when to use what?
Yes, sir. So last year I was kind of the quiet guy on the team. So I've learned, like what Gavin said, I've learned from Haas, Devon, and guys like them how to lead our team. And so this year I knew that I would have to step up in that position. And so, yes, sir, just being more vocal at practice and getting the giddy up from our guys.
Is that something that you all were comfortable doing? And I'll start with you, Gavin. Or is it something that you kind of had to make yourself do it in terms of just being more vocal with guys?
No, it just kind of came upon me. I knew the need of the team. I needed to be a leader for this football team, but no, it wasn't anything I was worried about.
All right, and then for you, Kaydon, what about that? Just saying, making yourself, or did it come natural for you to saying, be that vocal guy if you need to be?
Yes, sir. Just like Gavin said, just came upon me. So I'm going to take on that role, and I'm going to be the best leader for the team.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Lancaster coming up this Friday, 7:30 kickoff at Tim Buchanan Stadium, pregame show at 7 o'clock here on Hank FM. The challenge, Coach Jones mentioned in the first segment, the speed of the Tigers is going to be something that you all are going to have to be really paying attention to. From a quarterback, when you see that, especially on film, it's going to be one thing, too, when they're actually out on the field and they're trying to get after you. But what's the challenge that they propose, or that they pose for you, rather?
Yeah, they were really fast. I think they do very well in a track. Fastest team we'll probably see, but yeah, I'm going to try to get the ball out quick, give it to our athletes in space, and let them go make plays.
All right, and then defensively, I mean, obviously, they've got some really good safeties there, some pretty good corners there. So when you look at that, obviously without revealing any secrets or whatever, but what's the key of facing somebody that's got that kind of speed and even recovery speed if you're able to beat them or something like that on a go route or something like that?
Yes, sir. I'm just going to make sure I'm physical all game Friday night, and once I beat them, I'm not going to let them catch me. And say I'm on the go route, I'm going to stack them to make sure that they can't get back on top of me.
What's the feeling like of finally getting that home opener now? What's it like playing at home, and what's the excitement going to be like for playing that game, Gavin?
It's definitely exciting. I mean, getting Guyer off our chest and we get to come home, face a big opponent like Lancaster, it's gonna be really exciting.
And then for you, Kaydon?
Yes, sir. I'm excited to finally be in front of our home crowd again and show them what we got.
All right, and you guys came very close to playing these guys last year. They were a 2-point conversion away, or at least taking Forney into triple overtime. That's how close you all came from playing them in the state semifinals last year. One quick recruiting question here for Kaydon. I mean, obviously you still got a couple years to go, but just kind of tell everybody about where you're at with your recruiting process, because you are a national recruit, and so there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of schools that are pursuing you, a lot of questions you're being asked. Your coaches are beating down your door just about every day, or they're blowing up your social media accounts. How are you dealing with that now that the season is going, and how do you try to manage yourself through this part of the recruiting process?
I just really try to put it to the side for my team, and so I can be the best player on the field on Friday nights. And so, yes, sir.
All right.
Putting it to the side.
All right. Well, guys, we'll look forward to it this coming Friday night. Again, 7:30 kickoff between the Bearcats and the Lancaster Tigers. Again, pregame show on here on Hank FM will be at 7 o'clock with yours truly, Kyle Hicks, Mercedes Meyer, who's sitting over there. The Deacon is our statistician, and, of course, Hayden Posey. To my far left is the quarterback, Gavin Beard. To my immediate left is Kaydon Finley, the talented wide receiver. Folks, give it up for these two fine gentlemen joining us here. And as we close out this podcast, just these two reminders for you that H5 Sports Barn and Nye Physio and Performance can help unlock your athletic potential and elevate your game like the Aledo Bearcats with expert sports physical therapy, tailored recovery plans, and top-notch sports performance training. H5 Sports Barn, proud supporters of the Aledo Bearcats. And we're also brought to you by Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Looking for a new ride? Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth has you covered. Right now, get $3,500 off MSRP or 0% financing, or 0% interest rather, for 36 months on the 5-star safety-rated CX-5 and CX-30. Hurry in, these offers won't last long. Experience top-notch service and unbeatable deals in their new state-of-the-art facility in Fort Worth. Or check out their extensive Mazda lineup at HileyMazdaofFortWorth.com. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, family owned and operated for over 30 years. Again, the Bearcats taking on Lancaster at 7:30 at Tim Buchanan Stadium, home opener for 2024. 7:30 again is the kickoff pregame show at 7 o'clock. And then we will be back here next Monday. We'll tell you about 2 weeks from now, next week. But again, we'll be back here next Monday here at Boo Rays, again, celebrating their 20th anniversary. Congratulations to them on this milestone. Again, we'll have head coach Robby Jones. We'll talk about the Lancaster game, and then we'll start looking ahead toward the district play where the Bearcats will be opening up at Brewer the following Friday. But that's for next week. We'll talk about the Lancaster game this coming Friday. We hope that you'll make your plans to be out at Tim Buchanan Stadium for this coming Friday's opener, and also tune us in for the game. I'm Kevin Lonnquist. We'll talk to you all from Boo Rays. Thanks for joining us. Take care, everybody. So long.
Thanks for listening to the Aledo Coaches Show podcast, brought to you by H5 Sports Barn in Aledo and Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, with Bearcats head coach Robby Jones and the voice of the Bearcats, Kevin Lonnquist. Please like and subscribe to this podcast and tell a friend. You're also welcome to join us every Monday night at 7 from Blue Rays of New Orleans in Hudson Oaks. And then listen to every Aledo Bearcats game, home and away, live on Real Country 92.1 Hank FM, on the free 92.1 Hank FM app, or online at 921hankfm.com.